A year ago, I made a video on the topic of Aisha, and that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha at the age of 6 and consummated his marriage with her at the age of 9. It's the one video that I made that I still get constant emails about, telling me that I'm a horrid person and how dare I possibly believe in such acts occurring as a Muslim. There's something that I need to address, and is something that over the year since making that video that I would like to expound upon and maybe give some clarity to. The first one is that when this video was published, I wasn't Muslim. This was the stance I had as a Jew. This was the stance I had when I wasn't a Muslim. This was the stance I had when I didn't think that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the final messenger of God. My stance never changed. I didn't even think it was that controversial. But people who have been on Reddit for at least 3 months and copy-paste the exact same rebuttals that we have to this, and the presentism, you can't say that. That's wrong. That's silly. How dare the Prophet Muhammad be a man in a time who was influenced by his own culture and the time that he was living? Like, how dare he? Because that's how everyone works. He's a man. He's a man at the end of the day. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as much as you want to, like throw him to the wind, he's a man. He's like you and me. He lived in a society, he lived in a culture, and he died. That is what the Prophet Muhammad did. Actually, before we continue on this conversation, let me just switch on my logic button, which means I'm going to say fallacy at least like 3 times a paragraph if I was to write things down. The Prophet Muhammad was born in a society. He was informed by the culture and the societal norms. It was 1400 years ago. That's literally what I just said. That is literally what I said. And you know what? I took my Shahada. I decided that Islam is the religion for me. I think it is the true religion of the Abrahamic faiths. And therefore, it knocks out all the others. I think it is the true faith. And nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Isn't it wild to think that there are people who aren't Muslim who completely just understand it and go, it was of its time. It was of the norms. And again, no one during the Prophet Muhammad's time, and let's be honest, he wasn't liked for a lot of it. For a lot of his life, no one liked him. No one liked him, no one liked his message, and he was berated. He was berated like everywhere he went for a long time. No one mentioned this because it was just the norm. It was just the norm. I'm not even going to be one of those people who say Aisha might have been older. I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to go down the route of puberty back then was different, or like people grew up quicker. I'm not even going to go down that route. It was a societal norm at the time. You know what? If you go through the Abrahamic text, like, child labour's a thing. Okay? Right? It's a product of its time. Okay? Do you know what? It's great that we don't have to do that anymore. I can happily say that. In modern times, isn't it great that we don't do certain things that they did back then because they had to, out of necessity? Society has moved on. Society has moved on, and I tell you now, in 1400 years' time, the people are going to look at us in the 21st century and go, why were they doing such barbarous, animalistic things? How could they have done that? And you know what people will say? They'll go, they were a product of their time. It was a societal norm. We did things because they were normal and no one questioned it because it was normal. That is literally how civilization works. I have played enough Sid Meier Civilization to know that things progress, and things that are normal in one era aren't in a previous one. Okay? It's why you can't have The Romans fly in rockets, okay? I tried to do it in Civ 6. It just doesn't happen. All they want to do is go to war. That's Civ 6. And if you play Gandhi, well, you know what happens if you play Gandhi. It's Gandhi. Was this entire video just to wind people up and so that I can mention that I've played Civ 6. I've played it a lot. And I'm really tempted to get number 7, but it seems still very glitchy. We'll maybe give it a year when the price drops. Maybe I'll get into Civ 7. Who's your favourite Civ character? What can I say? My opinion on this, just so people can go back to this video, was the same when I was not a Muslim, and it's the same now I am a Muslim. What do you want from me? Why are you still emailing me? Why are you emailing? Why? Stop.